Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Today, I wanted to do kind of a long-term overview, review. Still a lot of use I need to put this knife through, but I can definitely give you, I think, very objective insights. Before I get started, guys, if you would be so kind and hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification icon next to it, I would really appreciate it. Today, I want to go over the second shed knife that I brought into my collection, and this is the Shed Knife 2023 Resilience. The Resilience is similar to my Skur in blade shape, slightly, but only in the curvature, I think, of the blade and the belly. This knife is unlike any really knife I've held. The way that the geometry is set up for the grip of the knife and for the way that when you hold it, it comes down to a level for whether you're chopping or doing food prep. It really puts all of the momentum of the blade and controls it right over the center point of that blade. I would anticipate this knife would not only be a great banger, chopper, food prep, skinner, um, fire sticker, you name it. I mean, it does have a lot of belly, so that's going to make it more, I guess, more suited for those type of cuts. But again, I've hacked with this knife. I have chopped with this knife. You can't help but chop with these little knives. They're just so much fun. You know, I talk about guys. I don't know everything about HRC. Don't know everything about much of anything except that I handle and use and play with and enjoy a lot of different knives. So when I set out to start my channel, one of the main things I thought I could bring to the table was give you a truly transparent way into the way a knife makes me feel. Um, and everything about this shed knife, since I first bumped into them at Blade Show, till I ordered my first Skur, which a buddy's got. It'll be back soon. And then I've got a project that I'm going to do with it. And then this resilience that I saw. Jack Billings, who is the CEO of and the founder of Shed Knives, and I communicate some via email because I've been giving him feedback ever since I met him at Blade Show into how well what he told me at Blade Show had kind of come to be, that I do really enjoy these knives because our conversation was around me being a small EDC type of guy. You know, I carry small EDC knives kind of as a supplement or a replacement to my primary carry. And he said, John, just give it a chance. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's going to be heavier than your small EDC knives, but there are ways to carry it that you'll find comfortable. You can carry it as a backup or you can carry it in your vehicle. It's just a great tool to have. And he's been right. Um, I, I love the fact that these are handmade in America. I love the fact that if you go back to just 2022, and the best place to see that is Chicago Knife Works, has some of the first generation of the 2022 Skurs and a couple of other models still for sale over at Chicago Knife Works. And again, guys, don't get confused when you see them because they are much less expensive, totally different blade steel. The only thing that I can see that is the same about the Skur in 2022 and the Skur in 2023, which I did an unboxing of, I did an overview of, and I'll do a long-term review here not too long after we do a little work with it. But it is just I mean, it's really just hard to say. It's something that you have to really, I guess, possess or handle. And handling it's not right because I handled it at Blade Show and I thought, wow, this is a neat knife. It would be kind of a novelty item to have, but I just don't see myself getting a lot of use out of it. Guys, I get a lot of use out of it. Again, I've not been on a good hiking trip or an overnight camping trip, do any kind of bushcrafting or any type of brush clearing. This would be a great knife for that application. And in my urban environment, yeah, it's a little bit much for an urban environment, but it conceals. It carries like a much smaller knife. Whether I keep this on my belt or whether, like my skirt, I put an ulti clip on it and keep it in my back pocket, it is just an absolute joy, and it's going to get the job done. Let me see if I've got a coupon here. Keep in mind, guys, this is we'll do a measurement here, but I want to say it's a 1/4 inch thick, 154 cm. It does have a hollow grind here at the bottom part of that, but it comes pretty sharp. That's cut of air, guys. Again, that belly rolls off it pretty quick. And I'm not doing it justice cutting it. But for as thick as this blade is, it can not only manipulate paper, like I said, I've been chopping on it, so it probably needs a good strop, maybe a honing. But this blade is so sticky, and wood and heavier materials, I mean, it really just goes to town. It is to me, it's kind of a marvel of what I would call anything, and I would say engineering, but that's the wrong word. When you look at this knife, you don't think of it as being able to, for example, like the Skur, it's designed as a trout skinner. You don't think of a knife this thick to be able to easily lay open game and be a very efficient skinning tool. But I can assure you, these knives would live up to that task. Um, Again, I could go on and on about the Skur knives and what a pleasant surprise they've been for me to find. Um, I think they're just delightful. They're a lot of fun. And for a made in America, handcrafted 154 cm knife, these are a great value. I want to say I picked this up at NAF sale for 132 bucks. My Skur was under 130. Um, and that's a lot of knife, guys. The knives that I'm going to do size comparisons of, all with the exception of one, were more expensive. So let's do a couple of size comparisons. Some other knives, some Made in America knives. We'll start with the SE3, which was my first EDC knife. So you can see the SE3 is about a 1/2 inch longer than the Skur, maybe an inch. We got the Bradford Guardian 3 with cat hair on it. And it's just right shorter. Now, if you take that pommel out of it and go up to the gripping handle, you'll see that you're talking about a much closer size knife. But since we're dealing with the entire knife, let's just look at the entire knife. So then we will move to a couple of smaller EDCs, knives that I find kind of perfect in the comfort size and in the actual size. And we'll look at this Bradford G Cleaver, aka G Necker. And we will look at the Luck Knives Squall. So again, guys, both of those knives are much smaller, but they're up to do much less if they were called on to do much less. For an EDC knife, I think they will do anything that they're called to do. But when you're talking about just an awesome tool, I mean, this is that tool. So let's get a couple of quick measurements, some weights, a few more dimensions, and then we'll let you guys go for the afternoon. So the length of the rəʻzilēəns is 7.5 inches. If I take the blade from the G10 to the front, I'm right under 3.25 inches. If I get that cutting edge, I'm at 2.75 inches. I do have a nice sharpening choil here. If I get the dimension from where I keep my handle, from this front choil area to that back, it's 3.5 inches. So from here to here, I've got a 3.5 inch grip. If I had a much larger hand, I could certainly use this pommel on the back, this lanyard hole to extend my grip. So I think, regardless of hand size, I don't think you'll feel very cramped with this knife. Let's look at where it really gets impressive. Let's look at the blade thickness or the stock. 0.2170 is the blade thickness. It's going to be the same back here at the back. 21050. The handle, I'm going to guess, is going to be close to 1 inch thick because it is very beefy. 0.84, that G10 handle. And then let's see how close I can get behind the edge here to give you something semi-accurate. So if we take it halfway up, that sharpening bevel, we're right up at the edge. You're at 0.0195. Top of the sharpening bevel, you're at 0.0650. So that's the difference from here to here. But guys, I can't say much more positive about the shed. If there was any perceived negative, which I could not call this a negative, it would be the heft and the overall weight of this knife. So this knife weighs 9 ounces by itself. On my belt with the Kydex sheath, it's 11 ounces. So if you were going to nitpick for any couple of things that might not make this just a fantastic EDC knife, there are slicier knives that you could probably find. I will give you that. And there are lighter knives that you can find. But in terms of a knife that when you carry it, you're going to feel like there's not really any task that you can't accomplish. You know that you're supporting a small company started by a young man who's doing really cool things with non-traditional designs, and he's doing them up in Delaware. All I can say is it's a great knife, guys. I'm stoked to have it. There's another US Tonto I'm looking at that's about in the size, but I'd really love to see them even shrink the envelope more with some smaller knives that might be kind of more in the Javon vein of size, but using the same aggressive build, because I love it. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Special thanks to every one of my channel members. I appreciate you all so much. You don't know what that means to me. I appreciate it if you guys subscribe, if you like, if you dislike. If there's a question, if you have a comment, I'll try to get back with the comments. I try to answer them within a week. I run through them the best I can. But please, guys, most importantly, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for that guy or gal to your right. Look out for one another. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.